Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2 with another movie review. And as if you haven't figured out by my lovely hat, I went to see Alice in Wonderland at my local cinema today. And to be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised because I did not expect Burton to take the story that we already know and use it in such a way that we would be introduced to Alice in her adult life, and she enters Wonderland again. It's the story itself is more about figuring out who you really are. I thought it was very metaphysical and philosophical in that manner. It's also satirical. If you're a history buff, then you'll notice that the Red Army and the White Army come from the War of the Roses, which was during the time of Queen Elizabeth I's reign, and it was the House of Windsor versus the House of Lancaster. Now I'm not sure which color was which, so I don't want to state anything that would make me look like an idiot. But anyway, it satirizes that. And also, of course, the Red Queen, she is poked fun at quite a bit, and that was Queen Elizabeth I. Now, the other queen, I'm not sure who she represented, to be honest with you, but if you're a history buff and you can inform me as to who the White Queen was satirizing, then I would love to know. I found this movie to be extremely enjoyable because it was an entirely new take on the Alice story that we all know and love. And personally, I thought it was more accurate, and it also included a poem, which is one of my favorite poems of all time, and incorporated that in the film. I'm not going to tell you how, but it was extremely exciting and breathtaking, just very enjoyable and entertaining to see. Just everything about this movie is just beautifully rendered and has sort of a kind of gothic feel to it, but not so gothic that it's overly dark or grotesque, anything like that. Um, I personally felt that the character depictions were spot on, particularly with Johnny Depp's interpretation of the Mad Hatter. I never would have thought Hatter would have been Scottish, but to be honest with you, perfect. I just thought that was a terrific representation of his character. And nothing against the Scottish people, but me having a little bit of Scottish blood in myself. But yeah, March Hare was also Scottish, which I thought was accurate, and Dormouse had a Cockney accent. Alice, she she just had the upper class British accent, and um, I just thought that the tale itself and the way that Burton handled it was very unique and creative and thought outside of the box and was innovative. And the costumes were just absolutely breathtaking. Just everything was beautiful to look at. I just can't I can't go on to say how exceptional this film really is. I mean, the soundtrack, the uh, the scenery, Wonderland is just outstanding. I've never thought of Wonderland in this way, but um, it actually gives you some insight into some of the characters' backstories, which I thought was very intriguing. Yes, I always wondered that myself. I wondered, well, why is the Red Queen this way, and why is Mad Hatter? the way he is, and I can't go into why exactly because that would spoil the film. So if you are a fan of the book, then I would definitely go and see it because it's just an entirely different representation of the story itself. And I also thought that it was just spectacular. I really did. I was surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised. I went into the film with some trepidation because I wasn't sure what would happen. I thought, oh, maybe it'll be too dark and maybe it'll be too scary for kids. But I think that if you were a child, you would have to be at least, I would say, probably 10. If you were 7, if you knew the difference between fantasy and reality, sure. But I don't know if they would get the significance of belief in yourself and finding out who you really are. The philosophical part. I think that would probably go over their heads a little bit. Probably, I don't know. Children are smart, so they might get that actually. Because kids, they're not dumb. But as far as filmmaking goes, I think this is the most accurate version of Carol's vision. And if Carol were still alive, I think he would say bravo. And I definitely would recommend this film to anybody who is a fan of the book itself, and to see Johnny Depp in a very interesting role, a different kind of character that we're not used to seeing. It kind of reminded me of Sweeney Todd, you know, a little bit of that insanity, the the mild mannered, and then you see this twist in his personality, just kind of like schizophrenia. Well, very well may be, who knows. But I just really loved this film, and I will give it 4 stars, 5 stars if I could. But if you have a chance to see it, by all means, go see this movie. It's really fabulous, and it just makes you glad that imagination is still very much alive and well in this world, and it gives you something entertaining and thought provoking and also historical. If you know anything about your history, you think, yeah, I know what he's pointing out here. Another thing I thought I would point out about the Red Army and the White Army is it's not only happened once in history, but it happened again in Stalingrad. If you know anything about World War II, I just thought, that's, I digress, sorry. But if you enjoy history, the Victorian era, just the accuracy of how women were treated at that time, it's spot on. I can definitely say that from having been a student of history for my entire life. So go see this movie. You won't be disappointed. I really don't think so. Now the only qualm I have is the end theme. Now I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the end theme because the rest of the music was just just very impressive and glorious. And I really want the soundtrack if I could afford it. I can't afford it now. I'm a broke college student, so there's no way I could possibly afford it. But the last song sung by Avril Lavigne, it's like she's screaming it. I love Avril. I'm a big fan of hers, but I don't know this song. I thought, girl, do you have to scream at the top of your lungs to make a point? You really shouldn't have to. But that was my only grief about this whole just uh, metaphysical experience, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that a lot of fans of the book would too. So if you want to get out and just be carried away by this unbelievable magical tale with a little bit of intrigue and is danger.